All right, everyone. So let's begin with our relaxation. Going back onto our mats, we're going to lay flat down. We're away from our screens. We are laying flat on our backs. Just like a proper warm-up and exercise, we want to properly warm ourselves up for yoga. What that includes is laying down in a comfortable position. We're not thinking about anything else other than right here, right now. And that can be really hard to do. It can be hard to stop thinking about other stuff. But I'm going to ask everyone to try really hard right now to think about how your shoulders feel down on the ground. To think about how our head feels, resting right in the middle, right on the back of the head, nose pointing straight up to the ceiling. I want you to notice your hips pressing down evenly into the floor. How do our legs feel today? And as we're getting ourselves a little bit more comfortable, there might be some fidgeting that happens. But eventually, sooner rather than later, I want us to get rid of all the fidgets and just lay as still as possible. That can be quite tricky. It's hard sometimes to lay still, to not think, to not move or fidget. See if we're able to close our eyes. And as we close our eyes, I want you to relax your face, your jaw, your eyebrows, your shoulders, and take a couple really nice, big, deep breaths. Big inhale, feel the belly rise, and a nice big exhale. Feel everything getting a little bit more relaxed. We'll take 2 more big breaths. Now, on your next inhale, we want to reach our arms all the way up over our head. Big stretch. Notice what we're feeling. I want you to really pay attention to your shoulders right now, your upper back. And let's release those arms down. We'll hug our knees in for that amazing knees to chest position, giving our knees a nice big squeeze and rock right to left. How does that feel? Does it feel good? Do we feel any knots, any tightness? Now we'll keep our knees hugging into our chests and roll those ankles. We want to start talking to our hips a little bit more specifically now. Keeping a hold of just the right knee. We'll lower our left leg all the way down to the ground. And then open that right knee out towards our right shoulder. Really firm with that left leg. Press it down into the ground. Notice any stretch you might be feeling right now. We'll cross the knee over towards our left shoulder. Maybe the stretch changes. Where do we feel the stretch now? Coming through the middle, and relax the leg. We'll take the left knee up now and open the knee out towards our left shoulder, firmly pressing that right leg down into the mat. And we'll cross the knee over towards our right shoulder. And again, I'm just going to ask that you listen to your body, hear what it's saying. What is it telling you? Where do you feel the stretch? Come into the middle and relax down. Taking our feet flat onto the floor, heels in nice and close, arms down by our side, preparing for our glute bridges. Inhale, lift the hips up, squeeze your glutes, press up onto the shoulders, and exhale, slowly lower down. We're just keeping our hands and feet flat on the floor. Inhale, lift the hips up, creating that ramp. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift up. Tight through your abdominal muscles, your stomach. Exhale, release. And one more time. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, lower down. Slowly rocking over onto your side through baby. Let's push all the way up into tabletop position. Hands coming directly beneath our shoulders. Knees are right underneath our hips. Finding spinal balance. We'll extend our right arm and left leg back and lower down. Inhale, left arm, right leg. Exhale, lower. Working on our balance today. Inhale, right. Exhale, down. Inhale, left. Exhale. We'll do one more each side. Inhale, right, pulling bellies up to spine. Exhale, down. And last one, inhale, left. Exhale, release. There we go. Holding tabletop, finding our cats and cows. Inhale, untuck the tailbone, looking forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, pull the bellies in, tuck the chin. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. One more of each. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Pushing back into child's pose. Sink our hips low into the heels or towards the feet and reach our arms out in front of us as we rest the head down. Some of us will touch the forehead to the floor. Others will have it raised. Notice what your body needs today. Take a couple big breaths here. Slowly, we're going to rise up into table and take our hands forward, preparing for our puppy dog or modified dog. So you walk your hands towards the front edge of your mat, scoop your hips up, just like you're about to do a big cat stretch, but now come down to puppy dog, resting your forehead or your chin onto the mat, scooping your backs out like a slide. Really great stretch for the shoulders and the upper back. One more inhale. And exhale, slowly sink back into child's pose. Now you may feel like your back has a lot going on in it right now. We're going to work through that, taking our right arm, thread the needle, stretch it underneath your left, laying into that right ear. Notice any sensation pulling through the right side of your back into the shoulder. Coming through the middle, take that left arm under. Slowly coming through the middle. And now taking ourselves into down dog. Curl the toes, lift the hips, and start pedaling through the feet. Toe to heel, toe to heel. Notice what you're feeling here as we pedal. Just walking the dog in place. Waking up through the feet. Little stretch up the calves. Now let's hold down dog and press the chest back towards the legs a little bit more. Noticing that we're still looking back at our feet. Our head's hanging freely in between our arms. Go ahead and shake the head no. Nod the head yes. Good. Now inhale forward into plank position. Really strong plank. You can keep your toes up or you can take your knees down, finding chaturanga, that controlled lower all the way to the mat. And then press up into cobra. Big inhale as we lift up. Trying to keep the elbows soft, the shoulders down. And we'll press back into down dog or child's pose if you prefer. Now everyone together, we'll meet in tabletop position, preparing for dolphin. Now dolphin is very similar to down dog, but instead of being on our hands, we're going to be on our forearms, our elbows. So let's replace our hands with our elbows. You want to make sure that your elbows are not any wider than your shoulders. So I actually like to bring them in just a little smaller than what my shoulders are, and then roll my elbows in a little bit more. Now, from here, you want to take your hands and thread your fingers, leaving enough space that if you had an orange or a clementine, you wouldn't break it or squish it. You're just going to hold on to that clementine in between your hands. So it's like you're making a little bit of a rounded ball shape with your hands here. Keep squeezing those arms, and now you lift up. You'll notice that as you come up into dolphin, your shoulders are pretty much stacked right above your elbows. Hips are up. You might need to bend your knees a little bit more depending on the tightness in your hamstrings today. Now, the one thing that some people will do right now is they'll take their head onto the floor. We don't want to rest our head down. So you should still be able to shake your head no, or nod the head yes. Working on strengthening and stretching through the shoulders. We'll hold this for one more big breath. And now take our knees down, press our hips back, and take a quick rest in child's pose. Stretching through the side of the body, walk our hands over to the right edge of the mat, left hand comes on top. We'll stretch down all past that left arm. I like to sit just a little deeper into that left hip, taking nice big breaths. And we'll walk the hands through the middle over to the left edge, taking that right hand on top. And then sit just a little bit deeper into your right hip. Coming through the middle, let's come up into tabletop again. At this point, we're going to work our way into down dog. And if there's anyone who would rather come into child's pose, that's fine. Take child's pose instead. We'll step our right foot all the way up between our hands, finding crescent lunge. We leave those toes of the left back foot on the ground, and your heel is going to lift up. Now, if you'd rather drop your left knee to the floor, right now you can take the knee down. Otherwise, keeping that leg straight, taking our hands up onto our thigh, finding our balance. Square the shoulders, draw them down our back, rock a little bit more forward so you're just on those tippy toes of the back foot, bringing the knee over the front ankle, and we can reach those arms up nice and high, finding our balance. Nice big stretch for that left hip flexor. One more big inhale. Exhale, release down. Now you can come back to down dog or child, or join me in a three-legged dog. Taking your right foot, lift it all the way back up into a three-legged dog. You can lift it high to the sky, or you can always bend it. I want you to pay attention to your left foot that's on the floor. Try to drop that heel down towards the ground. Feels so good. And we release the foot. And now look up between your hands. Take your left foot all the way forward. Getting ready for crescent lunge. If anyone would rather take that back knee to the floor, go ahead and do that now. Otherwise, the heel's up, our tippy toes are on the floor. We're going to lift our hands. Now find your balance. Take your time here. Find your balance. And then rock forward, just on your tippy toes. Really strong straight leg. Lift those arms up nice and high. As we lift the arms, let's try not to shrug the shoulders. Bring the shoulders down away from our ears. Stretching this time as we open up through that right hip. 2 more big breaths. And slowly release down. You have the option to come back down dog or child, or take that left foot and lift it all the way up high into three-legged dog. You'll feel a big stretch of that bottom right leg as you try to drop the heel down towards the ground. Remember, you can always bend that top knee if you'd prefer. Squaring the shoulders up, squeezing the bellies. Slowly release that foot and reach forward into plank position. With either the legs straight or the knees on the ground, we find chaturanga, slow lower. And inhale, scooping up. From cobra, let's press back into child's pose all together. Notice how we feel. Coming forward into a modified plank on our knees. We slowly lower the body all the way to the mat. Now, if you need to make any adjustments, like if you need to move on your mat, let's do that now. As we prepare to come into bow pose, we're going to stretch through the front of the body as we extend through the back. You can do this one leg at a time, or you can join me and do both. I'll cue for both, so don't worry. Taking our right hand, we hold on to our right ankle. Our left hand is under the left shoulder. Unless you're going to join me in doing both at the same time, you'll take your left hand and hold your left ankle. Try to keep your knees within your body's frame, so your knees are not wider than your hips. We want to roll our shoulders together. Try to flex your feet. And 1, 2, 3, lift. Lifting through the chest as your feet try to put footprints up on the ceiling. We'll squeeze those shoulder blades together. And as we lift, 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 we'll feel a nice big stretch. If you're doing just the right leg, I want you to lower that down now. And you'll switch sides, lifting just the left leg up, pressing that right hand underneath the shoulder. Let's try to keep lifting up just a little bit higher. Remember to breathe. Taking that last big inhale. And exhale, everyone lower everything together. Couple big breaths. And we'll bring our hands down. Cobra stretch. Oh my goodness, I feel so much taller now. Hopefully you also feel really tall. And we can press back into child's pose. Give our backs a chance here to take a quick break. 2 deep breaths. All right, everybody. At this point, I'm going to ask us to move our mat towards the wall so that we can prepare for our headstand. Now, today's headstand is going to be very similar to that dolphin. So I've got my mat just up against the wall and I've got a nice clear canvas, making sure that where your feet are gonna go, you're not going to hit any pictures. And I know where my stuff is beside me. So make sure that you know what's beside you too, that if you were to happen to come out of the handstand or headstand, not, perfectly, because nothing is ever perfect, that you're not going to hurt yourself or hurt anything. With yoga, we always only come into positions that we can control. So I want everyone to promise yourself, promise me right now that there's not going to be any jumping, any kicking. We're doing this with absolute control. Let me demonstrate what I want first, and then we'll go through it together. So I'm going to show you, and then we're going to do it together. So you can have your mat laid out long like this. This is one option. I'm going to show you what I actually prefer. Is having your mat so the short end faces the wall, because now you're facing the wall and you've got lots of room here with your legs. So let me show it first, and then I'll coach us into doing it together. On your elbows, just like dolphin, you cup, instead of a clementine, your head. You're going to lift your hips, walk it in nice and close before tucking your feet and your knees in. This might be where you stop today. Otherwise, you might be able to bring your legs up straight. And you can use the wall, or you don't have to. Now watch this part. This is the most important part, okay? Tuck your knees in, and then slowly bring yourself down. See how the entire process of that headstand was completely controlled. I never ever lost control. Yeah, sure, you might fumble or fidget. That's okay. What I want is not any kicking. So when we're going through the position, we're going to have our elbows underneath our shoulders. See how they're a little bit smaller? They're not wider than my shoulders. And then you hold your head. You're gonna hold, I held just underneath my bun. You can see that it's just at the back of your head. You hold that, just like you held that orange or clementine. Then you'll slowly walk your feet in, lifting your hips up. And you can have your hips touch the wall. That's a really nice way to know that your back is straight enough. Once your hips or your back are touching the wall or close to the wall, you're going to try to tuck your knees into your chest. And then maybe you kick your legs up straight. I'll do it again so you can see. Actually, I'm just gonna tilt my camera so you can see from the side. Okay, ready everybody? Maybe down here. Yes, that's perfect. Okay, I'll do it here. If anyone wants to watch again, yeah, I'm close to the wall, and then I tuck, 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 tuck. My back is just about against the wall here, and then I tuck one knee in at a time. I look pretty funny upside down, don't I? And then from here, you can straighten out your legs. And then you can do fun things, like butterfly, maybe a split, maybe legs out straight. Oh my goodness. But always, always, when you come down, knees tuck into the chest, and then we slowly reverse. Okay, I'm just watching a little bit here. Remember, no jumping and no kicking. That's going to bring you control. All comes from your abs. Walk your feet in, and then squeeze your belly and lift your knees in. So before you try to kick your legs up straight to the ceiling, try to have both knees tucked into your chest. You should be able to balance on your head with your knees tucked into your chest. And then once you get that, getting up straight part is easier. So your head is on the floor, the back of your hands are holding the back of your head. I'll do it one more time for anyone who wants to see, okay? Last time I'll show, and then we'll move on. So elbows are smaller than my shoulders. My hands are on the ground. I place my head on the ground, and I cup the back of my head. And then I'm gonna walk in, tippy toe, tippy toe, tippy toe. Okay, now my feet don't need to be on the ground anymore. I'll tuck them in. So this is the position that's super important. We have to get this part. And then from here, you might lift your legs up. And your legs are in, you tuck, you can come down. Oh my goodness, yes! Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, you're all rock stars. Yeah, your head might feel a little bit silly because we were just putting so much blood into our head by being upside down, and you had a little pressure on the ground as well. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of all of you. Really great job, everybody. Okay, so slowly coming down and out of that, take your time, knees into your chest. Yes. Okay, at this point, I'm so happy for everybody. At this point, we are going to move ourselves onto our backs. So you can move your legs away, or sorry, you can put your mat back in the center of your room where we had it just before we came, okay? So let's slowly move our computers back where they need to be, moving your mat back where it needs to be. Amazing. And you can take yourself all the way down, laying flat on our backs. Our next position is going to be bridge, wheel, shoulder stand, and plow. So those are the progressions we're going to take. Laying on the ground here, we'll start with bridge. We'll bring our heels in nice and close to the body, arms down by our side. Slowly lifting the hips up, finding bridge. You want to rest on your shoulders lift through the hips. And now if you're comfortable with it, interlace your fingers and start to lift the chest, just open a little bit more. From here, notice how this feels. Choosing to stay here or trying wheel. If we're trying wheel, we'll release the arms, bring the hips down, bring our hands up beside our head, elbows pointing straight up to the ceiling. Hands are backwards, so fingers face the feet. We lift our hips up. Oh, trying to keep our feet flat, flat, flat on the ground. Pressing up through those arms, opening up the chest, the shoulders, and we're stretching down our backs. And when you're done, you just tuck your head, roll your back vertebrae by vertebrae, and then bring those knees in for a huge hug. Amazing, and just rock side to side. All right, now take the feet on the ground again. We're going to come up into a bridge in order to lift up into shoulder stand. Now you can watch me first, or you can join it with me. Just remember, exactly the same rules as our headstand against the wall. No kicking, no jumping, always in control. That's really important to yoga, always in control. We'll take our arms down by our side, lift our hips up into bridge. Now take the hands to the lower back, elbows come right underneath. So if this part is stumping you, then this is where you'll stay. You'll keep working on getting those elbows underneath the hands. We want to tuck one knee in at a time into your body. Slowly, keeping your hands on the hips, elbows on the ground, you can lift the legs straight to the sky. And then if you want plow, we bring the legs completely straight back, trying to take the toes on the floor above the head. Try to calm your breathing. And to get out of this, we rewind, taking those legs straight up, bending the knees in, keeping your hands underneath your back. We'll slowly lower 1 foot at a time to the floor. And then once in that elevated bridge, you roll your hips down. Good, and bring the knees into the chest again for a huge hug. Rocking right to left. All right, at this point, we're going to lower the feet to the ground in order to stretch through our legs. Let's lift our right leg straight up to the ceiling, holding either the calf or the thigh in a single leg hamstring stretch. If you need less, keep your knees bent. If you need more, take that left leg and straighten it down to the floor. Now, with just the left hand on the leg, we'll bring the leg across the center of our body, just a little bit over to that left side. You may feel a stretch along the outside of your leg, trying to keep it straight. Really important. Let's all keep our hips and shoulders flat on the ground. Now coming into our straddle split, we'll bring our leg through the middle, holding it with the right hand only, and open that leg out to the right side. Notice any stretch through the inside of the leg, the groin area. And inhale, lift the leg up. Exhale, release down. Very good. Let's do that on the other side. Hugging the left leg in, let's lift the leg straight up to the ceiling. Holding the calf, the thigh. Notice any stretch up the back of our leg. Again, if you need less, bending the right knee. If you need more, keep that leg straight on the floor. Taking the leg in the right hand, we draw it across midline of body, finding a stretch somewhere down the left side of that leg, trying to keep the leg fairly straight. And we'll switch hands as we bring the leg through the middle over to the left side in that split position. Again, if you need to bend either leg, that's okay. Trying to keep our hips and shoulders down on the mat. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale, release. Taking both legs down straight and our arms out to the side in a T position, preparing for our spinal twist. Let's inhale, lift the right knee up 90 degrees. Exhale, lower to your left. Keeping our shoulders on the ground, let's look over that right arm if we're able to. Taking 2 deep breaths. We can lift the leg up and lower it down. Inhale, lifting the left knee. Exhale, lowering to the right. We can look over that left arm if that makes us happy. One more nice big breath. Lifting that leg up and lowering down. Now let's just find ourselves here in our relaxation pose. Whatever is comfortable for us right now. For most of us, it will be Shavasana. Legs are straight, hips are open with the toes falling out to the side. Arms can be straight with the palms facing up towards the sky. Nice, slow, deep breaths here as we close our eyes. Maybe you need to rock your head right to left, finding that flat part of your head in order for our nose to point up to the ceiling, really relaxing through the face, letting go of any tightness in our eyes, any clenching in our jaw. We'll relax through the neck, the shoulders, focusing on feeling more comfortable, taking a couple deeper breaths now. We can count maybe to 5 or 6 every time we breathe in. And we are able then to breathe out nice and slow. Nice and slow. Deep breathing as we feel the stomach rising up. And then slowly feel it breathe out, letting the body relax. We're going to stay here for another couple of minutes. I want you to feel relaxed here. Continuing to lay down. I want you to feel like you can really melt into the ground. And notice, just like at the beginning of practice, we were thinking about what our body was telling us. We were listening. Do we feel any different through our shoulders, through our hips, our back, our legs? Do we feel good? Maybe we feel sleepy. Maybe we feel refreshed, like we pressed that reset or restart button. I want everyone to take that final big breath in and breathe out. Go ahead and wiggle those fingers and toes. Roll through the wrists and ankles. And on your own time, slowly coming up into our final upright seated position.